Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is the new Teen Titans number 30. Terra joins the Titans. So this is one of those sort of ironic covers, obviously for those of you who actually know what happens in the Judas contract. And it's kind of a very interesting ploy that Marv Wolfman and George Perez do to sort of kind of egg the reader on with this kind of storyline that they've got going on. But anyhow, this particular issue is actually the continuation of another story which involves the Brotherhood of Evil and Brother Blood. So I technically skipped an issue in between, but essentially between the previous issue and the one I did before, the Brotherhood of Blood is kind of fighting with Brother Blood, or the Brotherhood of Evil, I should say, Brotherhood of Blood, with Brother Blood. And they, in the previous issue, they kind of got freaking owned by Brother Blood. But now they're kind of on a mission from the Brain to go capture Raven. And they just attacked Titan's towers and caused a lot of pain right here. And at the end of the previous issue, Raven actually attacked Kid Flash and caused Kid Flash enormous pain and for him to kind of freak out while he was at it. So this issue is kind of funny. I actually, even though I like the Teen Titans, I'm actually not a big fan of this issue, and the big reason why is it's a little bit all over the place. Again, you know, this is kind of one of the weaknesses, I would say, and there are not many weaknesses, in my personal opinion, of going with the compressed style. But one thing that it does require is it does require you to kind of be very efficient with your words and with what you want to show to the reader when it happens. If there's one criticism I have of Marv Wolfman, and it's why for me personally, I don't consider him to be a better writer than Chris Claremont, and that he comes up with a lot of ideas and he has like a lot of big brain concepts and stuff, but he has a bad tendency to just jam way too much. And it just kind of, the dialogue starts to disconnect, and he wants to have all these lines all over the place, but he doesn't necessarily tie it all together very cleanly, you know, when you're going through an issue with him. I mean, I haven't covered it, but one of these days I will cover Crisis on Infinite Earths, the landmark 12-issue series by Wolfman and Perez, kind of a sort of rival 12-issue series to Secret Wars. People could probably argue that it's much more influential and more long-lasting because of Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's the reason why DC is constantly having crisis events all the time, because it was a profoundly successful series. But I am actually not a fan of it, but I'll cover that later. Anyhow, this particular issue, Speedy's visiting the Titans, and he goes and he talks to Flash, and they don't realize that the Brotherhood is actually slowly awakening, and Brotherhood gets the upper hand on this small JV crew here. This is freaking, who's her name? Oh man, my head is like not Fran. Yeah. So she's like an old friend of the Kid Flash. They actually had a really fun adventure with her where she kind of discovered her powers, which are like, you know, little Magneto power basically. But anyway, they all get their ass kicked, and the Brotherhood of Evil goes after Raven. Some other place in New York, freaking Beast Boy continues his simping of Terra here. So here Terra reveals her new look and her desire to join the Titans. Very interesting. In the previous issue, she was very much against joining the Titans, and then now in this issue, she's all of a sudden very excited to join the Titans, even telling our Gar here that she's, you know, to step on it because she wants to get in the Titans. Very interesting, right? We go over to Robin and Starfire, who's working with Adrian Chase, the district attorney, and they're going over to meet Bethany Snow, who is going to do an interview with them, but she then reveals that actually she's being threatened by she feels threatened by Brother Blood, and she wants to basically surrender and admit all of her crimes for protection in revealing Brother Blood's crimes and his schemes, right? And she even reveals the photo here. If you guys remember, this was the scene in the Brother Blood issues that I covered, where Robin gets his ass tortured. Here you have Starfire, who's super worried about her, and Robin, being Robin, kind of saying, admitting no weaknesses. Yeah, Robin is such a dickhead in these issues, man. I gotta say, I feel like Marv Wolfman had a good idea for all of the characters, except for Kid Flash. I really feel Marv Wolfman really didn't know what to do with Kid Flash, especially after the initial storyline with Raven. And eventually he kind of just wrote him out of the book, right? And in a way, thank goodness, spoiler alerts, that the original, well, I wouldn't say the original, but the current Flash died in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that drove Wally West here to become the next Flash at this period in time. Yeah, sorry. DC timeline is really convoluted and confusing, at least to me personally. Not to say that Marvel is any better, especially modern Marvel, from the 90s up, gets really convoluted. But yeah, man, sometimes it gets hard to run through DC. But anyway, they get ambushed, and Robin, investigates here, doing his Batman impression. And they head off to go investigate and try and find who that lady is, while they're also going out to find Raven, because they found out that Raven is of interest to Brother Blood and the Brotherhood of Evil. You get kind of a fun side moment. So this kind of mirrors the previous scene that I was talking about with Wonder Girl, on the previous issue with Wonder Girl and her somewhat peculiar older boyfriend, a significantly older boyfriend. In this case, that was her meeting her older boyfriend's ex-wife and his daughter. In this case, this is Vic, who is going over to meet his lady friend. In this case, his lady friend is Sarah. Yeah, I forgot. And he runs into this random dude who's in her apartment, who's kind of claiming, oh yeah, we're engaged, and he's being awfully friendly and kind of passive-aggressive with Vic. Pisses him off, because obviously he's really in love with this girl. This was kind of typical of Marv Wolfman's Titans. There's a lot of soap opera drama going on in the backgrounds with every character. Every character has kind of love interest, love drama going on in their life. And that's something that he emphasized very heavily throughout his run. So anyway, turns out we find out Bethany Snow is full of shit, and she was actually tricking the Titans. The Titans get together to kind of figure out and try and find out where the heck Raven's at. And while this is going on, they find out that that Terra wants to join the crew, and Robin kind of very nonchalantly says, okay, yeah, come along, but just do as I say and don't improvise. Robin is such a dick in these issues. So what the hell? And then we get another scene where we find out what's going on with Wonder Girl. She's going to a very fancy restaurant with her extremely older boyfriend. I'm sorry, I just find this entire relationship really weird. And he takes her over to this place and kind of alludes to he's got something special planned tonight. We go over to a church, and Raven is there. She kind of ran away after doing a number on Kid Flash, and she's having sort of an internal crisis here with her whole holding in her emotions thing to prevent Trigun from taking over her soul and stuff. This is very Raven. Raven's like emo before emo. She runs into a father who tries to help her, and even kind of tries to level with her, but she's like, would you even help Satan's daughter? Right? And in comes the Brotherhood of Evil. She's actually, surprisingly enough, kind of aroused to action. And this is sort of out of character for Raven, and Marv Wolfman has a plan for this, because Raven normally is a pacifist. So here she is kind of driven to attack first. And then Phobia here kind of tells her, hey, let's not fight inside the church. Let's go somewhere else. And so they all leave. She's actually kind of frustrated. because she realizes that she wanted to fight them, she wanted to hurt them, and this is kind of counter to what Raven believes and what her her upbringing under Azar is, right? So we get some television screens right here with the dropping of the ball in Times Square. It's New Year's Eve, etc., etc. All the Titans are kind of watching TV, trying to figure out where the heck Raven is at. So you get a lot of like talking between the characters, kind of chilling out. This is kind of a somewhat back and forth issue. A lot of stuff going on, but it's a bit cluttered, at least in my opinion. So Raven comes out of the Times Square box, and everyone else, realizes, oh crap, she's in Times Square. And you get Wally here being a dick. I will say this, man, if you're a Wally fan, these old new Teen Titans comics from the 80s are a bit of a mixed bag. At least I could see it from it. Like, Wally is not really portrayed in a good light in many of these issues. I think there's only a couple issues where he actually comes out, kind of cool or kind of likable. Most of the time, Marv Wolfman kind of makes him out to be a dick, or just ignorant, or just really black and white and kind of stupid at times. I don't know. I just find like I feel like Marv Wolfman kind of didn't really want the character after a while. Like once he was done with the Raven initial story, he was kind of like, I really don't like this character, and eventually he, he writes him out of the book anyway. So, and he also makes him the Flash, so that kind of allows him to write out the book after he murders freaking Barry Allen. No, I'm joking. He doesn't murder him, but still. So the Brotherhood of Evil, they warp into Times Square, and they get into a conflict with Raven. Raven tries to use her soul self on Plasmus, and it does not work very well. She ends up damaging herself. And but right before the Brotherhood of Evil can basically take her, in comes the newest member of the Titans, Terra, who kind of shakes up the earth, and you get Starfire blasting them as well. Kid Flash, interesting enough. So this is one of the things where it's kind of like hot and cold right here. Things don't kind of make sense, and the pacing is a little bit weird here. So Flash, like the last panel we saw him, he was kind of like, Raven's crazy, I told you it all. And then all of a sudden he's like saving her life, and then, running into a portal, and then having this weird thing where he's frustrated that, oh, I'm still in love with her actually. It's like, what the hell? Like, make up your mind, Wally. So we got a fight right here. Cyborg blasts Plasmus, and Phobia gets captured by Fran, Wally's friend. But she's able to use her fear powers to basically turn this entire crowd in Times Square during New Year's on them, and through in the confusion, Warp ends up taking ends up rescuing the rest of the Brotherhood, while also kicking the crap out of Wally and capturing Raven. And at the end of this issue, you get this proposal from Terry to Donna Troy, Wonder Girl, which is peculiar. I'll say that. But yeah, no, a lot happens in this issue, but the pacing is a little bit wonky, and the characterization is kind of like a little bit irritating at times. Like, nobody comes out very likable in this issue, I think, is kind of my thing. And I think, like, relatively speaking, compared to like other Teen Titan issues or other competing lines, such as during this time, this is 1983, the Uncanny X-Men, of course, right? So, but the important thing is Terra is officially a member of the Teen Titans, and we will find out in a couple issues the background story of why this isn't such a great thing for our Titans. Anyhow, let's get to the art. So this was mostly a Raven issue, so I figured I would draw Raven. So I will say this, Raven is a character that's, for the most part, fairly easy to draw, because it's really about drawing the cape, I should say the original Raven design, the cape, the two pendants, and then essentially a dress, and then if you want to show her her sort of gloves cutting off at her lower bicep. You can, in this case I do, but you could have the cape just completely cover, right? Interestingly enough, she wears heels. I don't show them in this case since this is a cut-off sort of bust. And then normally you do not see her hair. George Perez takes her hood off a lot during the original New Teen Titans run, but typically she's always shown kind of with shade covering up her eyes. So it's just her eyes, and then her original costume had these sort of sparkling earrings that she has, right? So very easy, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, if you want to do the eyes, 5 colors, really simple. I think the only thing for me is that I think I'm running finally into the limitation of my cheap paper challenge. So I don't think I'm going to do any more cheap paper stuff unless it's for fun and whatnot. I'm going to go over and actually go spend $1 and get some actual real paper to be doing this. But it was enjoyable. I kind of like the character design of Raven. I think it's one of the more iconic ones of this New Teen Titans run. You try to do what you can. Anyhow, that's the video. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. If you got any comments on the new Teen Titans number 30 or my art, leave it down below. And I will see you next time.